Today we're going to talk about handlebar shake or wobble, and I'm not talking about the tank slapper type wobble, but I'm talking about the wobble that you get when you let go of the handlebars and you've got cruise control, for example, and you can see the handlebars doing that all by itself. What causes that? Well, we'll get into that in a few moments.
In recent years, motorcycling has considerably increased in popularity. It's not difficult to see why. The modern machine is a very sophisticated piece of engineering. It's now faster, quieter, more comfortable. Reliability has improved, and perhaps more important, so has the economy. But with the introduction of these new and sophisticated machines, we've encountered two problems, which we call wobble and weave. Now, let's make it quite clear from the start. The ordinary motorcyclist has no cause for alarm. He's most unlikely to encounter either of these effects. Low-speed wobble is easily controlled simply by holding the handlebars. High-speed weave is more alarming, but it only occurs at speeds above the speed limit.
In 1975, Rowe and Thorpe of Manchester University showed that the basic design of a motorcycle could give rise to weave and wobble. The front is basically like a T-trolley caster. The angle of the forks puts the steering point ahead of the contact area of the tyre. This distance produces low-speed wobble at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, just like a T-trolley caster wobbles at certain speeds. At slow speeds, the wheel will wobble quite freely under certain conditions if the handlebars are released. The rider doesn't normally experience this problem because the energy of the wobble is low, and just holding the handlebars is enough to stop it. You can see the rapid wheel flutter here on the Police Norton. Removing the fairing makes no difference at all.
Perhaps the most useful thing of all that we've learnt is that both wobble and weave can be controlled easily. A light grip on the handlebars is enough to control low-speed wobble. For high-speed weave, the solution is to lie down on the tank. Violent braking or wrestling with the handlebars will only make things worse. We're still not sure why, but lying down on the tank cures high-speed weave.
On the tracer, I noticed that it exhibited a handlebar shake or wobble, and I'll put up a clip right now to show you evidence of what I experienced.
35 miles an hour. 35 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. There's the shakes. It's 40 miles an hour. 45 miles an hour. There's the shakes at 45 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour. Pretty much gone at 50 miles an hour. 55. Handlebar shake at 55. Pretty much gone. 60. Handlebar shake at 60. Not there. 35 miles an hour. Slight shake. The shake is starting. It'll increase, so it's between 35 and I would say 45 that we get this handlebar shake.
So after seeing that, I came home. I checked the head bearing as far as I could. There was no rattle. There was no looseness in the head bearing as far as I could tell. I checked the fork clamp bolts, and I checked the axle connection. They were all tight and torqued to spec, and everything was tight, so there was no need or there was no reason for that shaking as far as I could tell. According to my Haynes manual, the shaking can come from looseness in those connections that I talked about, the fork clamps. It can come from a looseness of the bearing at the top, the head bearing, or worn bearings. This bike shouldn't have any worn bearings because it's only got about less than 5,000 miles on it, and I've never experienced that before in any bike that I've owned until now. Another reason they say could be the front tire. Apparently, some front tires are more prone to causing that resonant shaking of the handlebars. If you notice from the clip that I put up, the shaking on the Tracer came between 35 and 45. So beyond that, there was no shaking. I never took it up to 100 and let go of the handlebars to see if there was any shaking at that speed. But pretty much at around 80 was the last speed that I tested it at, and there was no shaking. What effect does the road have on it? As far as I can tell, it doesn't really have an effect on it. I've seen this shaking here on nice smooth, fresh blacktop. I've seen it on concrete roads, and I've seen it, on groove roads. I mean, that's a different phenomenon. That's not what I'm talking about. Grooved roads will pull your tire, according to the grooves in the road. So that's not what I'm talking about at all. So anyway, long story short, after I checked it out myself, without having a new tire fitted, I took it to the dealership. I says, look, before I go and order a new tire, I want you to check it out, make sure everything is okay, make sure that the head bearing is tight or not worn, and let's eliminate as many variables as possible to see if it's the tire. So he calls me back probably about half an hour to an hour later, and he said, I've seen this before, and it turned out to be the top box. I says, you're kidding me. He says, no. If you take off the top box, the shaking goes away. So I says, I'm coming to pick up the bike. So when I went to pick up the bike, I test rode it without the top box on, and sure enough, there was no vibration at 35. No vibration at 40. No vibration up to about 42, right? But then about 43 onwards, the vibration was there. So the vibration existed between, let's say, 45 and 55. I had taken the bike back before I realized that the vibration wasn't totally sorted. I had taken the bike back based on his assurance that it's the top box causing the problem. But for me, I ride the bike with the top box all the time, so I can't not have the top box on the bike. It's a convenience item. And so I brought the bike back, and I verified for myself that yes, the vibration range has shrunk. It is now between 45 and 55. It's still not vibrating above 55 much. Definitely gone by 60. But 55, I could say, is essentially gone. So I bought a new tire. Today I went and I had that tire installed because I didn't feel like doing it myself. And the guy at the dealership said that the tire that came with the bike, which is the one that I suspect is the problem, it's got a little bit of cupping, an unevenness of the surface. The level of cupping on that tire is very minimal. I have had far worse cupping on the tire on my RS, and there's no vibration on that bike. None. So if it turns out that this slight bit of cupping is what caused this vibration, then I must say that this bike has got a design flaw. The resonant frequency in the steering is such that just a little bit of cupping can lead to that. Yes, I know I added some things onto the handlebars like holders and all of that, so that could change the resonant frequency a little bit. But all throughout that range between 35 and 55, with the top box on, the thing is shaking like that with that level of wear on the front tire. I still want to think it's the front tire, but I have not tested this new tire yet. But let me show you the cupping that I'm talking about. This tire is got lots of tread left. You can see even the paint is not even worn off, these little strips in the groove. But if you run your hand here, you can feel a little bit of unevenness. I don't know if the camera is picking it up very well, but there is some unevenness in the surface. So a little bit of cupping, but not much. Look at that profile against the concrete. That's not a heck of a lot of cupping. And as far as I'm concerned, the bike should be able to handle that level of cupping before causing any shake in the handlebars. So the tire that I've got now is my tried and trusted, the tire that I like. And I've had several sets on the RS. And this is the Road Smart 3 from Dunlop. It's not a Dunlop tire, but this is a good tire. This is not factory supply on any bike. That thing there is a D222 Dunlop, and it's factory supply on some bikes, I guess. He's got it mounted up, and we've had it balanced. I've had it balanced here at home since I brought it back home, and I put my tire pressure monitoring system on it. So what I'm going to do now is throw it back on the bike, and then take it for a test ride and see what happens.
Fourth gear, we're going to be hitting 50 now. Let's let go and see what happens. Okay, I didn't put it in cruise control, but I let it slow down from 50. No problems. Let's hit 55. 55 now. Nope. No issues there. Slowing down from 55. You would pass through the range, the vibration range, and you would see the shake. So you don't have to have it in cruise control. You could just slow down through the range and you'd see the shake. And there was no shake. This looks like a good lane for 30, 35. 35. Well, 34, 35. Nothing. Let's see if I can get any slower. Nobody behind me. 30. No, nothing at 30. Okay. Okay, what's the speed? 40. Let's set 40. 40. There's a tiny bit of shake there. There's a tiny bit. I don't know if that is shake or that's just the road surface. I so don't want to have any shake. It's 45. Well, it's 47, but this thing has an error of 1 mile per hour. Hey, by the way, I've got the top box on. No vibration at 46. Okay, cruise control is set in 51 right now. Let's release now. No real shake. No real shake at 51. This is 55. No vibration at 55. Here 60. No vibration. So the range hasn't shifted. It's just gone. Unless it's shifted to a much higher speed, at which I typically won't take my hands off the handlebars. So let's go back to 45. Let's slow down through 45 and see what happens. 52, slowing down. It's a little bit of shake, but just the tiniest bit. But then it's just a very small transient range. So just around 45, it kind of like wants to shake a little bit, but it doesn't really actually do it. It doesn't build up. So I would say I would call this cured, but I would still say that inherently the steering on the tracer, you know, lends itself to handlebar shake. I mean, when these tires start to wear, right, I mean, and they get slight cupping again, I expect the shaking will come back. Maybe by 5,000 they'll be much less cupped than the D222s, and as a result they should perform better through that mileage, you know, through 5,000. But as it stands right now with the brand new Road Smart 3s, there's no shake whatsoever. So I'm pleased with that. It's a better tire too anyway. So until I talk to you again in another video, keep the shiny side up, stay safe, have a great Christmas, and I should be putting out another video before Christmas, probably a motovlog, and so I'll talk to you then.